Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Journey to the Pit. I'm Jim Collins, and today we're going to be starting a new series where we'll pretty much be just going with particular topics, doing a question and answer session with different breeders from all over the world. So today we got Jeff Chapman from Chapman Farms based out of Kentucky. And what we're going to do with him today is he's going to take the time today to walk us through his Kelso program, which is a family of chickens that he have had over 30 plus years. So, Jeff, welcome to the new format and the new show. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jim. Thanks for having me.
So great. So listen, with these short videos that we're going to be doing, short topics, we're going to pretty much just get into the meat and potatoes of everything. So right now, this line that we're going to be talking about today is a Kelso line, correct?
Correct.
And how long have you had this Kelso line?
Well, I started fooling with the Kelsos. It is about 87, I believe, and I got my first Kelsos about 88,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I've been breeding them ever since.
So since you have had these Kelsos for so long, obviously you have gotten to the Kelsos when the sport was legal back in the day, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. And I'm still trying to breed them as close as I did back then.
Okay. Got you. So you kind of using the same formula, the same breeding program and methods as you were back then.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me this though. So right now, how many Kelso pins do you have set up? Brood
Right
pins.
now, I've got 5 Kelso brood pens set up.
Okay. You got 5 Kelso brood pins. Okay.
Yes, yep.
So what we're basically going to do now with your 5 Kelso brood pins. Now, before we get into just the brood pins, the purpose of us going through your brood pen method is to help people understand how you have been able to maintain a family for 30 plus years with infusing very little outside blood in it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I try not to infuse any outside blood at all, but I mean it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I got one where I shot a little hatch in there here and there and breed it right back out, but most of the time I go back and forth, father daughter, and separate them out.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So that's what we need to know. So let's go ahead now, since you said you got 5 brood pens set up. And what I would like to do is let's go ahead and walk through each of your brood pens. And what I would like for you to share with us is what you have in a brood pen. We know it's Kelso,
Right.
and how they are related. And give us a little bit of information of what you've seen in a cock to be able to allow him in the brood pen, and what you've seen in that hen for you to choose her to be in a brood pen. So let's talk about brood pen number 1. What's in brood pen number 1?
Brood pen number 1, he's a cock that I've had for I think he's a 6-year-old now. He's a performer, excellent. And his daughter, I mean, he's in there with his daughters. But him, I like everything about him that I've seen, the way he was on the yard growing up and stuff like that all these years. He's never really had a bad day.
Right.
He always had a good attitude. His feathers are nice. He held his tail right all the time. He just wasn't one that was going to be pushed around, growing up. So I really liked him. He stood out to me.
Right. So tell me this, Jeff, since for the individual who have never seen your Kelsos, looking at your Kelsos, give us a little bit of information as far as, their station, back sizes,
Well, they're a higher station. They're a higher station fowl. The majority of them come light colored with white through their tail feathers, wing feathers, and stuff like that. They're pretty broad. They're round. They're round like little footballs, more or less. They got good wing length to them. Good broad back. Good, nice big breast on them.
Okay.
So
that's pretty much what your Kelso is looking like. So tell me this. So how about the hen that you have in there?
The hens, majority of them come buff colored.
Bluetooth connected.
You see one hen, you pretty much seen them all, really. You just kind of go look for the hens, their attitudes.
Okay.
They're not someone who's going to go up to the feed and with a bunch of other hens and run off real quick when someone pecks them or something. I like one that's going to stay there and hold her ground. That kind of stands out to me. Then I take a look at their head and stuff like that. The size of their heads, and a lot of that just comes into play.
Right. So, okay, so that's what you got in brood pen. So in brood pen number 1, you basically say you got a 6-year-old cock and
Correct.
you have him in a pen with his sisters, correct?
I have him in a pen with 2 of his daughters. They're coming 2-year old.
Okay. So they coming 2 years old. All right. So based out of this pen number 1, what are you looking to get out of this pen number 1? Are you trying to,
I'm trying to go back as close to what that cock was when he was younger as I can. I'm trying to hold his characteristics and bring them out in that offspring. Hopefully it works. It doesn't always work.
Right. So that's what you got coming out of pin number 1. So pin number 1, you got a father in there with 2 of his daughters, right?
Right. Yeah, I actually bred those as pullets. I bred this exact pin last year, and I really like what I got out of it now. So I'm just keeping them 2 together.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a repeat breeding.
Correct.
Got you. So that's in pin number 1.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about what you have in pin number 2.
All right. Oh, pin number 2 is a son out of that cock, and he's a 2-year-old cock. Him, I never done anything with other than raise him and put him in brood pen. He was just one of those that really stood out to me when he was running around 2-3 months old. He just had a perfect attitude. He was real friendly. I'd go out and feed, and he'd come to me all the time. But watching him on the yard, he wasn't nothing to play with. So I just kind of kept an eye on him and watched him. When he got old enough, I checked him out a little bit, felt his body. He had the perfect body that I was looking for.
Right.
Nice back, round breast,
Right.
keel bone, nice, long, straight. He had a perfect little head, great station, good feathers. So I bred him. I bred him back to his mother.
Okay, so that's the next question I was going to ask you. What hens you have in there with them?
I got his mother. That's a single mate pen going back to his mother. I'm trying to get his mother's sideline, go back to his grandfather. I'm trying to get back to what he was.
Got you.
Trying to collect all those characteristics of those few little roosters, that I've had in the past. And so far it's been working. In this way, I can separate them like this, the first pin and the second pin. I can separate those 2 little families. They're still the same family, but then later on, I can bring them back together, and they have the same characteristics.
So that's basically the methods you've been using to carry this line on for the last 30 years without really using too much of an outside infusion.
Correct.